Welcome to the OT. I am Elise Jesse, and playoff football this week is going to be a fun one. They head to Buffalo for the divisional round with the AFC Championship on the line. This was one of the looser locker rooms that I have seen in my years here. I mean, it reminds me of the 2015 year where they were just absolutely rolling and having a blast with each other. And specifically within the locker room, I've noticed that there are two corners of the locker room that are the most fun, I guess you could say. Like, they are just always having a blast, ribbing each other, joking, yelling at each other. They're the two loudest corners, and it seems like they have the most fun. So I ventured into both to see what was going on. The first one we're going to start with is the defensive line corner. Those guys, I mean, DJ Reader, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, Zach Carter, Joseph Ossai, Cam Sample, like those guys are always, BJ Hill especially, always going back and forth 24/7. So I had to ask Joseph Ossai about what was going on between this position group specifically. And it's funny because he was my main target coming into the locker room today. And I saw this man grab a ping pong paddle, and I thought, oh man, I'm going to wait for a really long time for this interview. And I did. I waited about 40 minutes for that interview with Joseph Ossai. And while that was going on, I sat next to Joe Mixon, and I decided to pick his brain a little bit, just on the ping pong, how much money's involved. I mean, the lowest bid that you can come in with is $100. And I asked Joe Mixon, what's the most money you've lost in a ping pong game? And he said a band, which is $1,000. And then I was just kind of asking him, normal questions like, do you have to budget for that? Is that part of your, do you have a ping pong allowance? And he said no. Trent Irwin was laughing at me like, what kind of question is that? Whatever. I mean, I would think that you would have to budget for a game like that, but whatever. So anyway, did wait, and the wait was worth it. High quality person, high quality interview. Speaking of high-quality people and interviews, Marion Hobby, defensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. He is coming up in just a few minutes, but first I want to show you Joseph Ossai. He had some great stuff to say today. Here he is. Joseph Ossai, the first question I want to ask, because I just told you I've never waited on a man like I just did waiting for you. You were in an intense ping pong game. Did you win?
Of course. Me and TB, big levels, Mr. Levels, a.k.a. Get Money T. All we do is get money, and we always win. When you step on that court, when you step on the field, or your prerogative, if your mind's not right, then you're not right. So of course we took the dub, for sure. That's what we did.
Did y'all bet any money for that game?
I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you that or not, but just know we came up. That's all I'll say. You know what I'm saying? Maybe pride points, maybe actual money points. Who knows, but we came up.
Everyone can use their imagination. It's all good, right?
For sure. Absolutely.
I was talking to your defensive line coach, Coach Hobby, and he mentioned, I asked him about how underrated you are. Like, I feel like you don't get enough credit. You're not talked about enough. And he was just kind of like, that dude works day in and day out. He's relentless. What is it about you that makes your motor go day in and day out?
I don't know. It's just wanting to get to the ball. If you watch, I've told a story about 1,000 times about how my high school coach told me that there's a slim chance when you're chasing the ball that you can punch the ball out, and it happened for me, and I've been chasing that high ever since. So, but just to dumb it down for everybody else, the camera follows the ball. If you want to be on camera, for the guys who want to be on camera, who want to get noticed, speaking more to high school guys, be around the ball, fly around to the ball. The camera will be on you, and you get your name called. So that's just a simpler way to put things. But for me, it's just an internal thing. I like to, if there's a slim chance that if I'm chasing the ball, I can punch it out, or as you've seen with our defense do multiple times, or I can make a play that would have been missed. If I wasn't chasing the ball, then I'm going to chase the ball.
I've talked to numerous guys in the secondary who say that their jobs are a little bit easier because of what you guys on the defensive line do and how you do your jobs. How important is that to you to make sure that the guys behind you, their jobs might be a little bit easier, their assignment might be a little bit easier on the game?
It's complementary football. We want to compliment the guys behind us, and there's a bunch of times where we get some sacks because they're doing a fantastic job. So it's complementary football, and it means a lot because the way this game is built, you have to rely. It sucks. It's not like track. It's not like basketball. You can grab the ball from one end to another and go score. You know what I'm saying? So you have to rely on someone else, and it means a lot hearing a guy can trust you to do your job. It means a lot. That's what we strive for, and I'm happy they said that.
I've already asked a few guys this question, but it mainly revolves around Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He loves those low percentage throws, those big 20-yard throws. Like, I think especially when he has the lead, he loves to throw the deep ball. Do you lick your chops when you know that a quarterback is like that? Like, they're prone to want to throw the ball deep when they're up.
Definitely, and you know, he's a great quarterback, and he's a big, strong guy. He likes to fight for a lot of extra yards, which we also like. But yeah, compliments to him in his game. But we definitely we prefer that over a guy taking 2 steps and, you know what I mean, getting rid of the ball. So I won't knock his game too much, but we definitely prefer that for sure.
Describe the challenges for me trying to take down a quarterback who's 6'5" and 240. I mean, you guys are about 6'5", 6'4", and I mean, you weigh more than him, so you have more muscle, I'm assuming. Yeah. But taking down a guy that big has got to be a challenge.
Yeah, he's definitely a tight end back there playing quarterback. But yeah, he's great. That just speaks to his athleticism for sure. He's a big physical dude, and he's looking to get those extra yards, and we love that. But, you know what I mean, you just got to understand who you're playing, know your personnel, know you can't just bump them. You got to wrap and roll for sure, hit through the waistline, and then it's going to be a great challenge. We're looking forward to it for sure.
I've noticed just being in the locker room that the defensive linemen's corner and also like the secondary, the safeties who all hang out on the opposite corner from you in the locker room, you guys are always having the best time. You guys are always laughing, cracking jokes, talking SHIT.
For sure, we do. We got some funny dudes on the team. BJ, he never stops talking, so you know what I mean? Either you get annoyed by it or you just join him. You know?
I was told BJ was the referee between all of you.
No, he's not the referee. Who told you that? He's not the referee. He acts like the referee, but he's the instigator. You know what I'm saying? So he'll come off like he's trying to separate things, but he's throwing more flame, more fuel to the fire. So don't let him fool you. I feel like he told you that, but he's definitely not the referee at all. At all. Whoever said that is a liar. Is a liar. Go ahead.
I feel like my time's ending in this locker room. I think so. Last question for you. What has this run been like for you? You have the AFC Championship on the line, 12-4. The way you guys started 0-2. What is it like now?
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. And they'll probably make a documentary about how we started training camp and we were stacking those blocks and we were believing in ourselves, and we knew where the goal was, but the coaches did a good job of reminding us to be where our feet were. And that's the thing we've done ever since training camp. We started where we were, training camp, first 2 games didn't go our way, but we stood where our feet were and we knew where we wanted to get to. And I'm just proud of us and what we've been able to do. And it's different for me because last year I was from the outside.
He's got his teammates messing with him.
Because last time I was on the outside looking in, but this year I'm able to actually be involved and feel the emotions in the locker room and all that. And it's been great. It's been awesome.
Joseph, thank you. I know you had outside challenges, so I appreciate you. Thanks. And you may have heard me talking to Joseph Ossai, mentioning that he had some outside factors that were making it difficult for him to answer that final question. He said that BJ Hill is the biggest instigator, but personally, just from the few minutes that I spent near the defensive lineman today, I would say that Cam Sample is the biggest instigator. I mean, he was behind me, like, I don't know what he was doing, but probably, I don't know what he was doing some kind of weird motions behind me and joking with Joseph Ossai. And the whole end game for him was to try to throw Joseph off so that he would lose his place in what he was saying. So they were just messing with him a lot. Obviously really fun to enjoy and watch. And the other guy, I went to the caddy corner locker room from the defensive lineman. I went to this area of the locker room is where you see the safeties, the linebackers, and they do the same thing that the defensive line does. They are joking with each other, ribbing each other, super loud in that corner as well. And so I went over on that side to talk to one of the more veteran players on this team, Michael Thomas. Went to Stanford, 11th year in the league, and He said, one of his other successful years was one of his first years in the league. So he had a 9-year gap where he was experiencing real success. And you can tell that this year is really special to him. And I was just asking him about, the defense as a whole. They have 24 takeaways this year. They have 16 takeaways through this 9-game win streak. And that tells me that this defense as a whole is extremely prepared, and they dial in on those details. And Michael Thomas said that it mainly is because of the player-led meetings. They hold meetings on their off days, and he said that those are run by Von Bell. Here he is. All right, Michael Thomas, I have talked to a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball. Y'all always seem like you are prepared. You execute so well, and it looks like you guys pay a lot of attention to the details. Is that what brings you guys to that point where you're able to dial in on the details so well?
I think one is the way we prepare, the way we meet, and the way we practice. Coach Lou always holds in onto the details, so we have no choice. But I think more so for the player leadership we have. I'm looking at a guy like Von Bell. I mean, he's running player-led meetings on our off day. And when you have somebody that's that dedicated, that to their craft and holding each other accountable. Cheeto, he's not even playing on the field with us right now. He's in those meetings trying to make sure that guys are prepared. By the time we get to the game, it's just second nature for us. So I mean, it's a connected group. We all care. We all bought in. We just want to play at the highest level, and we're trying to do it for one another.
You guys have 24 as a defense as a whole, 24 takeaways so far this season. You have 16 through 9 wins. Did you guys set a goal at all at the start of the year for takeaways? I know you guys harp on it, but was there a goal at all?
I mean, nah. You got guys like Logan and G always talking about you got to get the ball, got to get the ball. I think it's more so just a mindset and not culture. Guys we know that's what it's going to take for us to win games, and it's a race, really. Who's going to make the turnover? Who's going to go make the play? And I think that's the mindset, and that's what makes it fun out there.
It kind of sounds like there's a competition within the competition.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like sibling rivalry, saying who's going to make the play. And then I think my favorite part about it is the celebrations. Some are better than others. I must admit, some are better than others, but I think guys trying to go make the turnover because then they kind of have influence on what type of celebration we're going to do. So, I mean, that's been the fun part about the season.
Now, I really like the roller coaster celebration. What was your favorite so far?
Probably between the roller coaster and Remember the Titans. Those were well coordinated, but there was a few of them out here. It was just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And you know what? You got to take the good with the bad. I'll take it.
Wait, in some of these meetings, do you guys talk? Is that part of the conversation, the celebrations? Do you guys come up with that on the fly?
If I told you what we really did, I don't know if we'd be seeing this special anymore. So I can't give you the secret, but I think some of it is impromptu, and some of it is coordinated.
Now, as far as preparation, you guys already spent a week preparing for the Bills a few weeks ago. That game didn't get played. So did you guys have to tinker much with the game plan at all? What was the thought behind that this week?
Clearly, I guess you can chalk that up as a dress rehearsal type experience out there, and it's unfortunate what happened that the game had to get cut short. So, I mean, you look back at that game plan, but at the same time you've seen, okay, in this short amount of time that we haven't played them, what have they done? What have they put on tape? Combine that with the first game plan, and then at the end of the day, just go be ourselves. That's it.
I've asked a few guys this question. Josh Allen is one of those types of quarterbacks who loves the deep ball. He loves to throw those low percentage throws, as you know. And they're one of the teams who have the most turnovers in the red zone. A lot of these guys were like, that gets me excited. What kind of emotion or, I guess, reaction do you have to that?
For me, it's just understanding that he's a very explosive quarterback. But, yeah, there's going to be opportunities out there. And I think that's what most guys are excited about. It's like, hey, we got to be on top of our game. Because he is trying to go make the big play, right? He's trying to go score in the red zone, and he's trying to take the top off the defense. You know what I'm saying? When they're backed up or when they're in the middle of the field. So we understand, what opportunity lies in front of us, and I think guys are excited to go make a play.
And I only have a few more questions for you. I know it's like time running down or whatever. But I wanted to know exactly how this run has been for you. What has it been like enjoying this kind of run for you? So the way you guys started out 0-2, now you're 12-4. You have the AFC Championship on the line.
Right. For me, going into year 11, this is special because, I think back even with last year, I thought I was done. Get called up, and we go on an amazing run all the way to the Super Bowl. It's like, shoot, man. I only had one other great experience my rookie year, and it was 9 years apart before I went that deep in the playoffs again. So to have another opportunity coming back in year 11, these guys letting Uncle Mike still run around with them, make plays. You know, it's fun because you can't take it for granted. I don't know when I'm going to play my last snap, you know, if this year is it, if I got more left in the tank after this year. So I'm just enjoying every step.
I feel like it's so rare for a guy to be able to last 10-plus years in the league. Do you take extra care of your body? Do you have certain rituals that you do to make sure that your body is on point and ready to, you know, last another year?
No, definitely have my routine for us, just, you know, taking care of my body week to week. But I think I'm not eating the same way I did, you know, at 22 versus 32, you know, and just staying within that routine, trying to show these young guys what it takes to be a pro. That's it.
Michael, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
When I was leaving that interview with Michael Thomas, I told him that the way he speaks is fantastic because it's just so smooth on the ears. It's just, he's easy to listen to. And that's something as a reporter and probably as a viewer, a listener yourself, you can appreciate as well. Marion Hobby, still on deck. He is coming up. First, I need to give you this interview with Zach Carter, defensive tackle. He's a huge fan of Marion Hobby, and I was asking him, you know, about Hobby's coaching style. DJ Reader was a huge fan of Marion Hobby coming in a couple of years ago. And Zach Carter, his rookie year, he said that he has learned more from Hobby than he did in his entire college career. Here he is.
It's not, bro. Shit's been hell, bro.
Writing is different.
It is. Time ran its course. Way different.
Way different.
Only these seasons.
All right, Zach, so going into Buffalo, I'm wondering about the game plan because you guys had this whole game plan set up to play the Bills the first time around, and then due to unfortunate events, you guys weren't able to play them. Have you had to tinker with the current game plan much from a few weeks ago when you're already preparing to play the Bills?
Not much. We still kind of running like some of the same things. We might have tweaked a couple things, but overall we're still running the same thing. So it's a pretty simple week as far as game plan wise.
A lot of guys really enjoy being coached by Marion Hobby. What kind of aspects does he bring as a coach that make it fun to play for him?
I say he definitely brings the energy and the passion for the game. Like, as a coach, well, as a player, you want a coach that's going to bring the energy every day. Like, if he brings the energy, most likely you're going to have the energy. And just, I say his overall knowledge of the game. Like, Coach Hobby, one of the best coaches in the league. Like, I probably learned more from him this 1 year, not even a full year, than I learned, like, my whole college career. Just involving like playing, like technique, all the little things. Like he really brings it out of you.
He certainly does. It seems like he does, anyways. And I've got to ask you about your teammates, obviously, because I was told by a little birdie. We brought this up off camera, but I was told by a little birdie that this is the funniest corner of the locker room. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? First.
Definitely funny. I mean, I feel like every team, every D-line, probably the funniest group.
In my experience, I mean, covering this team for almost 10 years, this has always been the funniest corner of the locker room every single year in, year out. It's like you guys hold that staple strong.
Oh, yeah. That's still very true. We have a lot of different personalities on the D-line, but as a D-line, like we all come together, and our personalities kind of gel together, you know. We got some funny guys, though, for real.
I feel like you guys are probably somewhat tame here at work. Does it get funnier outside of work when you guys are just hanging out outside of the building?
Yeah, it does. But I mean, we still ourselves like while we're at work, you know. I feel like as a football player, like you gotta have fun with this. Like if you don't have fun with it, you won't enjoy it. Like it's a quote like, moment I'm done having fun with it, I'm done playing, you know. So been having fun, joking, it helps along the way.
And they were saying that it's funny. BJ Hill's kind of the referee between all of you guys. I don't know if that's true or not. You said that you're more goofy than funny. What's even the difference between goofy and funny, in your opinion?
I'll say goofy is more like you joke around like a lot, but like when you're actually funny, like there's some guys that say like some really funny things, you know. Goofy is more like you have a more joking personality, like all day. There's some guys that are goofy on the team that like joke all day, but there's some funny guys on the team like They might not joke all day, but if they say something, it's really funny. So that's the difference.
I like it. I like it. My other question for you is, what has this run been like for you? The fact that you are competing right now for an AFC championship.
Oh, it's been everything I ever dreamed of being in the NFL. I'm blessed to be a part of this team. It's been a great first year as a rookie. Like, I just knew when I was drafted by Cincinnati, I'm like, man, I'm going to a Super Bowl contending team. So I kind of knew like how this year was gonna go, especially when I first got here, and I realized the type of group of guys we have on this team. I knew we'll be heading back that way.
This defense overall, 24 takeaways this year, 16 throughout the 9-game stretch. It just seems like if you have that many takeaways in a 9-game stretch, a 9-game win streak, that you guys are extremely prepared. That's what it tells me. Is that a correct assumption?
That's correct. I mean, turnovers win games. When you're winning the turnover margin, most of those teams win the game. Whoever wins the turnover margin. So we preach that, like Coach Lou, every week, and our goals for the week, turnovers is always at the top of the list. So that just tells you the importance of turnover.
The Bills are an offense who turn over the ball the most in the red zone. They have 9 turnovers for their last 3 games. What goes through your head when you hear those types of stats?
I get excited. Like we'll have the opportunities. Like we know going into the game, those opportunities are gonna be there. So we got to make sure we take full advantage of those opportunities.
Zach, thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Appreciate
job.
it.
Thank you so much. You heard Michael Thomas talk about it throughout this show that, you know, when they were preparing for the Bills a few weeks ago, they didn't get to play that game. And so, yes, they've tweaked a little bit as far as the game plan for Sunday's game is concerned against the Buffalo Bills. But he called it a dress rehearsal. Maybe that's why this locker room was so much looser. They've already prepared fully to play the Bills, and they didn't actually get to execute the game plan there. So they might have tinkered with it a little bit. But for the bulk, it sounds like they continued their game plan from a few weeks ago, which probably makes it easier on everybody going into the game. Zach Carter, just like everybody else I've talked to, off camera, on camera, when they see a quarterback like Josh Allen, who, yes, he looks like a linebacker, he's huge, 6'5", 240, but he also loves to throw that deep ball. Like when he is up, when he has the lead, he will throw balls that are 20 or more yards 36% more of the time. And he loves those low percentage throws. He loves to make a big splash play. And this defense knows that. And if you're going to do that against a defense like this, who dials in on those details, who stays prepared, it probably will not go well for you. The Bills have turned the ball over 9 times in the last 3 games, and I think the Cincinnati Bengals defense is planning on adding to that turnover stat coming up on Sunday. All right, so the interview you've all been waiting for, defensive line coach Marion Hobby. He was so kind to take his time. I will tell you this, before the interview started, I knew they were coming in from a walkthrough, and this is their lunch period. And when I was ending it, you could see in his eyes that the man was ready for lunch. He just wanted something to eat. And when he was walking out from the interview, I said, "What's for lunch today?" And he said, "I don't even care as long as I get food." He did not care. But I was just talking to him about just how special it is for him coming in from Miami, came in 2020, and just the success that he is experiencing with the Cincinnati Bengals. And you know what? He's a dude that will never take any credit. And he gave all the credit, as expected, to his captains and to the players within his room. He is extremely close with his players. The players love him, and you will be able to see why throughout this interview. Coach Hobby, you make me feel short. You have one of the most feared defensive lines. I mean, your defensive line just always seems to be poised. They seem like they are prepared every game, and they make everybody else's job easier from what the players tell me, like the linebackers and safeties. They say that the defensive line makes their jobs easier. How have you, poured into your players and been able to do what you've done with them so far?
Well, I tell you, the credit goes to them. This is a group of men that even in practice times, if they fix things that's on tape, you show them something and they get it. You can tell that they study because they ask study questions, and a lot of times they're way ahead of the game plan. So it's a group that you really like coaching. They're serious about football. They take care of each other in that way. They communicate with each other. So it is a pleasure to coach. It is rare.
Absolutely rare. And you can tell how close these players are just by the way that they joke around with each other and talk. And you can tell that they obviously hang out outside of the stadium. How much does that benefit your team, having guys be so close as they are?
Well, I think you don't want to let the next man down. Whether that's your guy who's next to you or the guy who's behind you, and just in the team aspect of it, and then the poise is huge, even in situations where things are tight and they're getting tighter. I mean, they always seem under control, nobody's, going crazy. Everybody's just got a belief in them that, sooner or later they're going to win. And so that's a positive.
You can definitely sense that. And I can't talk to you without, I know we're talking about the Bills here and you're preparing for the divisional round, but I cannot talk to you without asking you about the historic play from last week. What was your reaction when you watched big 6'5" Sam Hubbard with the ball running the other way for the touchdown last week?
I guess my first thing I said, he picked it. He's got it. He's gone. I guess it was like everybody else was, run, Sam, run, run, run. Then I saw that big tight end get after him. I said, whoa, we better block him. But it was just an excitement, and you couldn't hear a thing. The crowd was so loud. I'm talking about, I don't ever hear the crowd, as a coach or whatever. But I heard him then. It was so loud in there. And he was running, and I guess every coach back there just maybe look back and see if there's a flag down there to make it a legitimate touchdown. And my family always teased me, was you running with him? I said, no, I was really just kind of watching. I was watching and let him do the work. And it was an amazing play, something that he'll never forget. And it was huge.
It seems like so many teams, obviously their goal, like offensive coordinators, their goal is to take away the pressure for their quarterback and make the quarterback's job a little bit easier. But you guys seem to really just make a quarterback's life a living hell. How have you been able to do that, and what is your process in making sure that happens on Sundays?
Well, we're always talking about in run game, we're playing as a picket fence, and in the pass game, we want to play together. And then there's examples where we didn't, where one guy get a great rush and the other guy's out of position. You have to point that out, the good and the bad with it. And, they give each other a little bit of fit about it, but I think when they start communicating and talking about playing together, that's what you want to see as a coach. You really want to see them buy in and know that there's no individuals out there. It is a team effort, and it's going to start with us up front.
You mentioned communication, and you can call me out and tell me that I'm wrong, but it seems to me like communication on the defensive end of the ball is more important than almost anything. If that is true, will you tell me why?
Well, we definitely we got a quarterback on offense. We got a quarterback on defense. It was Logan and Pratt. They're getting us lined up. They're giving us the strength call, so we depend on them as a front. And then they depend on the safeties and the corners to communicate the formations and the alignments. And you got to know they talk to each other more than we talk to them, so they can hear each other's voices in that world. And but that's the key deal, is the communication off of it.
I remember when you were first hired here, and DJ Reader was so excited because you guys go way back. What is your opinion of his ability to overcome injuries and continue to play at the level that he plays at? It's just amazing watching him out there.
Wow. He every week he does something that kind of even shocks you as a coach. He was like, whoa, I didn't know that. If it's, the rushing, or if it's playing the run, and his temperament, his demeanor on the sideline as a veteran football player is unmatched. Like the other day, I asked him in the game, I said, man, you good? You rest? He says, 4 minutes on the clock, coach. I'm great. So go. You go do what you do, DJ. But he's a pleasure to coach, and he's got his buddy right there next to him, and BJ. And, man, and everything starts inside out. You know, we talk about that, and, you know, that man starts inside out. Let's get that ball back inside to our big defensive tackles. Let them guys play. That ball gets on that edge, we'll try to run it down. But I think they depend on each other in that way, man, and that's important.
Absolutely, and it's not just the starters, Coach Hobby. It seems like even guys like Joseph Ossai are vital to your defensive line play as well. What does he bring to the table, in your opinion?
Speed. Man, he can really run. His motor runs. You know, there's some plays out there that he's going to make because of his effort and his speed. You know, he might be out of position for 0.5 seconds, but, boy, his ability to get back into the play is unbelievable. One great play he made on Huntley broke the pocket. You know, it was going to be a nice run, and he ends up running him down. And he's done that a few times this year. But his speed, his tenacity, his effort is what you want to see on his coach.
Now, you, a former player, now coach of the defensive line, when you are looking at a quarterback like Josh Allen, he's usually referred to as a dynamic quarterback, but I would think that maybe as a defensive line coach or defensive coordinator even, you would think of him as a diabolical type of quarterback because he's kind of the same size as Sam Hubbard. He's a big dude and he can run. How do you deal with that? What are the challenges that he presents?
It's funny, and he is special. You know, he has it all. You know, he can run the football. He can throw it. You know, he runs the offense. You know, he is special. When you see 17 standing back there, man, he commands your attention. You know, like you say, he's taller than most linemen. Yeah. You know, and he runs the show. Yeah. You know, he's a great leader for his team. You can tell they count on him. He is the deal. He is a good, really, really good football player.
Yeah, certainly. And Coach Dorsey was talking about how he was hoping to eliminate pressure for Josh Allen this week, but I highly doubt that would even happen on your dime, on your clock.
What was that? He said what?
You would hope to eliminate some of the pressure that Josh Allen would feel on Sunday, but I don't feel like that's something that you guys would even allow for 1 second.
I think Josh Allen knows that he is the key to that offense. You know, and I think he puts pressure on himself to make those big plays. Same as the Lamar Jacksons, the same as the Joe Burrows. Those guys are the leaders of your team, and they know they carry the team because they touch the ball first, and they carry the team on their shoulders. And our guys know, hey, man, you get that thing back to Joe, we're going to be all right. And I think their team plays that way too. You know, you give that ball many opportunities that Josh Allen gets is more dangerous and dangerous as it goes. So we want to keep him, hope he's sitting over there on the bench for most of the day.
I love it. Marion, in my opinion, you're such a nice, kind human, and I love watching good things happen to good people. And you are experiencing a divisional round playoff game for a second year in a row. How has this run been for you personally? Unbelievable.
You know, you always think about it as a coach, and you want to be in a situation where, hey, I want to be in a tournament. I want a chance to play for it all. You had a chance to play for it all last year, and then you come back this year and you have another opportunity to play for it. And sometimes I have to just kind of smack my own face and say, is this real? You know, because a lot of times coaches coach for years and years and never even win a championship, not alone get a chance to win the world championship. So I'm deeply honored and very humbled by it, for sure.
And last question for you.
Yeah.
You were talking about buy-in earlier in this interview. Will you just describe what it is like for you as a coach? Because I know you're a player's coach and you connect really well with the guys. What is it like for you when you're trying to teach a guy something or a certain technique or a way to go about doing their jobs and the light comes on and you know that they finally understand or know what you're trying to teach them in that moment?
I think that's what you get in the teaching part of coaching. You know, how do you get them to do what you want them to do? How do you get them to play at this level within the scheme? Because everything is not predicated that you make the play, that you're the spotlight. You know, sometimes you got to do that dirty work, you know, and let them know how important each job is. And guys buy into it. And but it's there's the guys around them too, and say, hey, this is what we got to get done. So it's really, I'm the luckiest coach in America. I got 2 captains in my room. Anything goes wrong, it's DJ and Sam's fault. Then it really gets wrong, then it's Trey, what's your problem? Then BJ. So we got a good group of men, and they correct a lot of stuff, that I don't really have to handle.
That has to be really nice as a coach to deal with. You got somebody else to handle that as a player.
They can handle it. I get in it, but then sometimes they can. They talk, like I said, they teammates. Yeah. They hang out together. I can say the same thing, and sometimes DJ says 3 words, and he says, "Oh, okay. I've been talking for 15 minutes," but and it's good. Or guys giving each other advice and. Correcting each other, but not being critical of each other, but just kind of correcting each other. And, sometimes as a coach, you got to say, hey, okay, that's good.
Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck in Buffalo.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week.
Okay.
So on that last answer, you heard Marion Hobby talking about how the guys will correct each other and how he doesn't necessarily have to take on the bulk of correcting the guys during film sessions. And I think that probably, if I assume right, I've been in these meetings before in the past. I've sat through, a whole day with multiple coaches on the former staff. And so I've seen what it's like behind the scenes and what you usually don't get to see. And usually if these players are ribbing each other and joking with each other in the locker room in front of the media, they are absolutely doing that behind closed doors. So Marion Hobby said that they correct each other, and that makes total sense. It completely translates. It all is spot on from what I've experienced in the past with how players interact and react with each other. They all care about winning so much, and you can really sense that when you talk to the coaches and the players. That is it for the OT. I hope you've enjoyed this show. This locker room was a really fun locker room. The storm is brewing behind me, and I will see you next week, hopefully. If they win and they beat the Bills in Buffalo, we will be doing this again on Thursday night at 8 o'clock.